This is the plaintiff, Marlene Pike. She says she and her friend from Michigan moved in together in Las Vegas, Nevada, and the woman up and left the place they rented together with 12 hours' notice. She can't believe her one-time friend stiffed her like she did. The girl owes her 1 month's rent, and she's suing her here and now for every penny of the $508.70 she owes. This is the defendant, Margie Yvonne Hall. She says from the very first day she lived with the plaintiff, the woman treated the house like a hotel. People would come and stay for 2-3 weeks. They'd use her bathroom, and it was very upsetting to her. One time, she even had people stay in the house when she wasn't even there. She told her well in advance she wouldn't tolerate this living circumstance any longer. Told her she was leaving and left. End of story. She's accused of leaving a friend high and dry in the desert.
All parties, please raise your right hand. Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome in.
Okay. Ms. Pike, you are suing your lifelong friend, Ms. Hall, for $508.70 that you feel she owes you for her share of December rent because she moved out early. Tell me what happened.
Yes, she got upset about something that was said to her while my sister was visiting.
What was said to her?
I can tell hearsay because
Okay.
I didn't hear it.
Stand up, please.
Okay.
You were visiting for how long?
Yeah, I was there for a week.
All right, and what was said?
I was visiting with my cousins, and Yvonne was upset because we were talking and laughing late, and she had a headache. What I told her was that I had some Tylenol, and she could take some Tylenol and lay down. She'd feel better.
And she thought that was your way of saying, no, we're not going to lower our voices?
Well, no, we told her we would, that
Okay.
we would respect her wish.
So there was,
but-
whatever strife
Yes.
there was, at some point,
Yes.
how long had you two known each other?
Since we were in middle school.
Okay.
It's about 50 years plus.
Wow, okay. I was going to ask the second part of that. But, so you folks had lived together how long?
About 4 years.
Is that accurate? All right. And then everything was fine until it wasn't in the end, or was it always a little bit hard?
For me, it was a little bit all hard because when I moved to Las Vegas, I was sick. My doctors retired me disability, and I didn't feel like a lot of noise, a lot of commotion, and I had the bathroom in the hallway, the small bathroom, and many times I was taking medicine where I would throw up or had to use the bathroom immediately. But it started happening from the beginning. When I first moved in, Marlene would give people permission to stay there, and without discussing it with me. She said at one occasion that she had forgot, to tell me. But
How long were the people staying there for when they would come?
Anywhere from a day to 2 weeks or a week or something like that.
2 weeks is a long time.
And and many times she was out of town when people were staying there. And I was very upset about that because this is my home. It's not a hotel. It's Las Vegas. It's not a hotel.
Right.
And most of the time I didn't mind, but when they kept coming back and coming back, like Ruby did, she had been there several times. And many times it wasn't, a good idea to have company. I would rather just be there myself while Marlene was at work or anything, but they didn't quite understand. And I got upset that night. That was the final straw when she said that to me. She told me to chill, she'd give me a Tylenol and go back to bed. And that was disrespectful to me because this was my home. I shared everything. I paid half of everything for the 4 years on time and everything.
What month did that happen? Do you remember?
It was in September.
All right, so at that point, you tell your friend, I'm moving out at the end of the lease, and the end of the lease was going to be December 31st.
Yes.
And then did you find somebody else to move in?
No, I didn't get anybody else to move in. I'm there by myself.
Did you think that you were finding somebody else to move in?
I told her I was going to try, yeah.
All right, and so when did you think that you had somebody?
I never did.
Oh, okay, you just
No, I
were
never
gonna
did
try.
have anybody, no.
When did she tell, okay, so she tells you she's leaving in December, and what happens? She changes her mind and says, I really shouldn't live alone.
She came back and said that her doctor said she was too sick to live by herself, and we talked about it, and she said she was just going to stay there because it really wasn't as bad as she made it sound, the whole time. When I don't remember anybody being there that was visiting me when I wasn't there.
How many times did you visit her?
4 or 5.
Okay.
4 or 5 times within the year.
Okay, that's a lot.
Not in a year, the 4 years.
Well, within the time that she was
there. So in
there.
any event, she tells you, okay, I've changed my mind. I shouldn't live alone. And then when does she tell you, listen, I'm moving out?
She doesn't.
So she just moves out one day?
I get a text.
You get a text on what day?
On November 11th, I believe it was.
Saying what?
Saying, meant to tell you I'm leaving today.
Do you have that text?
Yes,
May I see it? Meant to tell you I'm moving out today?
Meant to tell you that I'm leaving today, yeah, something like that.
Okay. Is that accurate?
That is not true. I had told her in August, I think it was like August, because I just came back from a trip, that I wasn't going to renew the lease.
Okay.
And then after this incident happened in September, I told her that I was going to go ahead and get me an apartment. Then I didn't know a lot of people there. I didn't know, anyway, I told her that I had changed my mind. I think I'll stay another month, but I wasn't going to renew the lease.
Okay.
So on November 11th is when I actually moved, and she was at the house.
Right.
And I told her maybe the day before or something like that, I'm not sure, that I was going to go ahead and move.
Right.
So...
Which means you got to pay December, right? Why wouldn't you have to pay December?
Because she told me she had a roommate. She said that she had a roommate.
But you were leaving anyway, right?
Yeah, I was going to leave.
Okay,
She told me that she had a roommate coming from Texas.
So she tells you, I have a roommate coming from Texas, so no worries about December.
Right, and that was her attitude, no
But
worries.
you didn't leave because she said that you were leaving anyway.
I was going to leave
And then the
anyway.
roommate that was supposed to come from Texas didn't work out, or you never said that?
I never had a roommate that was coming.
Was there somebody you were looking at as a...
I talked to a friend of mine there in Texas, but there was nothing ever settled that she was coming.
All right, so
and I told her that.
Okay, everybody slow down. All right, so your share of the rent is how much? $508.70?
I think the 508 said half of, yeah.
All right.
But I had told her ahead of time that I was going to go ahead and move. And this is after 4 years of paying my rent, paying my bills on time and everything. And this is the first time.
Was the apartment under your name or under both of your names?
We were both on the lease.
Okay. And then, so there was a security deposit, and did you go halves on the security deposit? Mm-hmm. All right. So there was a $427 security deposit? All right. You never saw any of that, right? Mm-mm. And you stayed in the same apartment.
I'm still in the house, yeah.
Okay, and that's fine, but when the lease is over, you've got to pony up that other $427 security deposit because the lease is over. It's not like she broke... Well, you're here to sue because, according to you, she did break the lease in the last month, and we'll talk about that. But you ended up keeping the security deposit because you're supposed to, on December 31st, you're supposed to, if you're living there alone... then you have to pay the other half of the security deposit to continue living there. It's a new lease come January. You're the only person on the lease in January? Right, so you would have to put, so she's right about the $427, so we've got the $427 on her side. And then, according to you, she hadn't paid the past few months of the cable bill, which was in your name. Mm-hmm. Is that accurate?
The last few months? No.
Yeah.
Do you have the cable bills that you are saying she didn't pay?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and they start in what month?
November.
So according to you, she owes November, December, January. Why January?
Because it was still in your name until when? It's still over in my name, and the equipment is still in the house. So we have to pay...
Wait. The equipment is still under your name and in the house?
Mm-hmm.
You didn't pay the cable bill in November, December, January, February. When did it finally... Did it ever get turned off, or it's still not off?
It's turned off. It's canceled in my name. And so I got the final bill.
So did you redo it in your name?
I got my own cable in
December.
December.
Yeah, of course. That's what you should have done in January.
No, I got it in December. When she left, I got my own in December. I went to DirecTV. I didn't even stay with CenturyLink. So they bought all their equipment.
So where's the CenturyLink equipment?
I still have it. It's at the house. Nobody ever came, or
I'm just
nobody
gonna-
ever contacted me.
Okay, all right. So
about
you
it.
didn't
So
throw
I
it
have
away,
bagged
though.
up
Okay,
and
but
ready
hold
for
on, hold
her.
on. You didn't throw it away,
No,
right?
it's bagged up and ready.
Well,
I mean, she said they were going to send a box. Nothing ever came to the house.
Send a box.
Yeah.
You mean an empty box
to
to
put the
ship
stuff
it in?
in, yeah.
Was that supposed to happen?
That was in the
Well,
check.
they're supposed to come and get the equipment. I text her that.
Okay, in
I
the
would-
name of a 50-year friendship,
Yeah,
I'm taking a recess and calling them myself, okay? Court is in recess.
All rise.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Now, Harvey Levin here. So why is it that people who've known each other for 50 years and they're good friends, they move in together and then they hate each other?
I think it's just because money and like they start falling apart and the friendship just breaks apart.
But why?
Because they're maybe knew each other in a different way. Now they're in each other's.
They knew each other for 50 years. That's longer than most.
Live together.
Why is that so different?
Because when you live together, you see things that you don't see as just friends.
Yeah.
And
They smell.
and
They don't wash their hands.
and-
God, gross going inside the courtroom.
So let's go over a few things because we're able to speak to the cable company. Why in your breakdown to me, ma'am, did you say service was turned off 11/29/2016? These are your notes.
Because I had called them back about it, and they said that's when the service was turned off.
Then obviously she's right. Then
Yeah, I
she's
got it.
right that she got her own service in December.
Yeah, I
and
did.
if she got her own service in December, then why, for December 1st, then why is the cable company who tells you that service was turned off, okay, charging you for service December, January, and February?
I don't know. They kept sending me bills, and that's why I wanted to.
But how can they talk out of both sides of their mouth like that? Do you understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. All right. Here's what we're going to do. You are, of the 508.70 that you are at, I find that you were entitled to that, but I find that she's already, by not having received her security deposit back and you using it towards the place, in essence, because the landlord didn't ask you for the additional deposit, that she's already paid $427 of it. As for the $81.71, which is remaining, which is what your 50-year friendship has been reduced to, $81.70, and it's taking every bit of my strength not to reach down, go in my purse, and hand you the $81.70. Here's what's going to happen. We have a series of bills, a lot of which is the equipment. We have made arrangements for you to send the equipment yourself at no cost to you back to the company. That is going to take over half of the bill that they're charging you. Got it? Okay. And as for December, January, and February charges, I am unclear why your cable company would charge you that when they are also saying to you, no, we know cable was cut off. So in other words, it's not the equipment charges, because that's going to be taken care of. It's these additional charges for service they knew they weren't providing, because according to you, they've already told you that they know that it was canceled 11/29, which jives with what you're saying, that you switched companies. You see? So basically, I can't order her to pay you anything for that because they shouldn't be charging you for that. All right? And you're going to have to, work that out with them and try. But as for the equipment, which you're right about, the equipment is going to go from her to you so that most of this bill is taken care of. What remains then in dispute is $81.70 that she says you still owe her for December rent. So I'm going to order you to pay
Here's the bill right
$81.70,
here.
verdict for the plaintiff.
Okay.
That's my verdict.
Okay.
Well, after all that, the defendant, Ms. Hall, is going to have to pay $81. How do you feel about what? Listen, this is too much. I think the judge was having a real problem with your friendship.
Yeah.
50 years of friendship reduced to, $80. Is that it? Is it over now between you guys?
As far as I'm concerned,
Really?
really.
I mean, you don't think there's any hope? You're just going to let it go like that?
I wouldn't like to, but I think that's where it has come to. $50,
That's a
$81.
shame.
It
That's
is
really a
bad.
shame.
It's really
My
bad.
goodness gracious. I'm so sorry about that. Okay. Thank you very much. Ms. Pike, I got to ask you the same thing. All right, you got an $80. Congratulations. Okay, you know, cheer and everything else. But what about this friendship?
I'm going to treat her the same way I've always treated her.
You are?
Yeah,
You're
I'm going to
okay.
treat her the same way. She's followed me all over. She's followed me to Texas. She's followed me here.
Yeah.
She'll follow me again if I move.
And you'll,
so I'll
you'll
treat
still
her the
be
same
nice
way.
to her, right?
Yeah, I'm going to treat her the same way I always have.
All right. Well,
So.
thank you so much.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much. Harvey?
You know, I mean, it sounds infantile almost, but you set ground rules when you move in with somebody, and that will prevent the kind of animosity that builds. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.